Hello, welcome back to Love, Sex, and Money. Christine Regan Lake here. Good to have you back. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to do that. And also hit the bell button so you get notified when I upload new content, because I try to do that weekly, and then you'll be notified when it gets uploaded. Perfect. So what am I going to talk about today? So today I want to talk to you about avoidant attachment. So, in relationships, there's something called avoidant attachment. And this was based on the theories in psychology that were determined that we have different attachment styles that are created by our childhood. You can have secure attachments, you can have avoidant attachments, you can have anxious attachments, and you can have anxious avoidant attachments. So today I specifically want to talk to you about the avoidant attachment. Now, obviously, there are stereotypes, but generally speaking, there tend to be more men who have avoidant attachment styles than women. But listen, there's lots of people out there. There are plenty of women who have avoidant as well. So if someone has an avoidant attachment style, what does that mean for you or for them in an intimate connection? Someone who has an avoidant attachment style tends to be very, very independent. This is someone who really doesn't ask for help for people. They pretty much do everything on their own. They're very self-confident, very comfortable being on their own, doing their own things like that. And typically, an avoidant is someone who always has their one foot out the door, right? So they've always got that perfect rationale and that perfect reason for why they need to step out of a connection. As soon as things get too emotionally intense for them or they get uncomfortable, they're out, right? So avoidants are not willing to put themselves out there emotionally. They tend to be kind of more in their head. They're less connected to their emotional body, and it's really kind of left brain logic, reason. This is what I'm doing. This is what whatever. But the reality is that we are human beings. We are built for connection. And so while avoidants may be very self-confident and very independent and they do a lot of things, ultimately at the core of their being, in your soul, you will crave human connection. So avoidants get into connections with other people because they seek that human connection. They want that, love and affection. But when it gets a little too uncomfortable, well, then, now it's time to go. And so how does an avoidant attachment style come into being? Typically, someone with an avoidant attachment style in their childhood didn't get all of their needs met. They obviously, it's not like they were in an abusive situation. Children who've been in very abusive situations tend to be the avoidance and anxious avoidance. But the avoidant attachments typically had a childhood where, the basic needs were met, but maybe your emotional needs weren't met. You weren't held enough. Your parents weren't very loving. You could have had very cold parents, things like that. So because you grew up in an environment that was kind of like, emotionally sterile, where your emotional needs weren't being met, you kind of entrain yourself to kind of not need it, so you kind of just stay at the surface. You're not comfortable being connected to your emotional body, being empathetic to others, wanting that connection. So it's kind of this in and out energy, right? So avoidant attachments will find any reason to avoid intimacy, and when things start getting too heated, then they're going to pull back. Now, someone who has an avoidant also may be, they get very hypercritical of their partner when their partner craves more connection and things like that. So avoidance could be like workaholics, or avoidance might be people that hang out with their buddies all the time or their girlfriends all the time, and they really do embrace behaviors and habits and patterns of emotional disconnection. So if you yourself feel that you may struggle with avoidant attachment, what you can do is, I would encourage you to start embracing a meditative practice to really get in the body and start getting comfortable. Cultivate within yourself. Just start with being comfortable feeling your own emotions, right? Because you can only meet someone as deeply as you've met yourself, right? So you may want to meet a partner, but you're not going to be able to meet them any deeper than you've met yourself. So it all begins with a meditative practice, a quiet practicing of getting in to your own body, connecting with, what am I feeling right now? There's a great book by Michael Brown called The Presence Process that actually helps people to learn how to cultivate presence in their life. It's a very valuable protocol that you could engage if you want to try that. But it's really about learning how to become silent, become connected to your physical body, and learning to become comfortable with feeling what you're feeling. Because if you struggle with avoidant attachment, there will ultimately, long term, you will struggle with loneliness, because we are humans built for love and connection. And if you have an avoidant type where you're constantly kind of stepping out of any intimate connections so that you can't get hurt, and that you're not willing to engage emotionally, you're just not going to have the rich, deep connections, and be able to feel the love and the affection and the connection that you truly desire at the deepest core, because we are spiritual beings having a physical body. We are hardwired and built for connection. So if your coping mechanism is to avoid it, to avoid emotional connection, to avoid intimate, emotionally connected and engaged relationships, you're going to struggle with loneliness and feelings of emptiness, and that there's just kind of a shallowness to your life. And I just don't know that that's really, what you're looking for. Maybe that's good enough for you, but if you're here, I'm thinking that it's probably not. You're looking for something more, something deeper, something richer, something more emotionally connected, loving. It's just, we're human beings. It's how we're built. So I hope you found value in this. If you're not aware, I do have a link in my description box for Operation Underground Railroad. I'm an abolitionist, and I'm committed to raising $1 million for the organization to rescue children from human trafficking. These children are in desperate situations, and they need our love and leadership to rescue them. Thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope you found value in this. Take care. Bye-bye.